You're kidding. Okay.
You'd have to know more.
Annual Single Saw Racing Fan Club Banquet of Champions here in St. Louis. We've got, first of all, good weather tonight. Sometimes we get these things where we have to stay at the hotel whether we want to or not because of the weather, but Lois Taylor and the crew have smartly moved the date back to November. We do catch a little bit better weather. Before we get started, I've got a special announcement to make, and I need to get this out up front because you're going to probably want to get one of these before you leave here tonight. Dr. Hunter is here, Dr. Hunter is here, and this evening with him is his new book entitled Motorsports Medicine. And this book he has written and relates to, obviously, injuries and problems that race car drivers sometimes do experience as a result of an accident. It's written in lay terms, which means that I and George Simmons can read it. You know what I mean? It's easy reading. It's $20, and they have copies of it here tonight. $5 of every copy sold this evening will go back to the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club. And we'd like to thank Dr. Hunter. Where's Dr. Hunter at? I believe he's Dr. Stand up, please. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Hunter. Give a nice round of applause and thank you, sir. Once again, we've got a tremendous program for you this evening. Some special people here I'm sure you don't want to hear from. But before we get started, we'd like to bring Mike Thunder up here. Mike, a member of the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club, is briefly going to talk about the cars that are here this evening. Mr. Mike Thunder.
We appreciate the effort that the people have taken to bring these cars here, and we'd like to recognize them. The Mueller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace Show car is here, and that's compliments of Motorsports International from over, Fallon, Missouri. Back in the corner over here is a 92 Lumina that's driven by Joe Walsh, and the owner is Mike Kelly. Joe was the modified champion at Lebanon last year, and you're going to hear more about that later on. And Joe's moving up to the late model class. He's going to be racing at Lebanon, Bolivar, Lakeside, and I-70 next year. And next weekend, he's going down to Charlotte and race at Concord Speedway. Good luck to Joe down there. And over in the other corner is another 92 Lumina. It's driven by Stevie Shy. That car was track champion at I-44 this past year. And Steve made a special effort. He put a new body on that car for us so we could have it here at the show tonight. And he'd like just to mention that the Budweiser Brewery is sponsoring him along with Lincoln Steel, who owns the car. And Steve's going to run again next year at I-44. Now back in the center, we have some karts. I'm going to start with the one in the center first. And these karts are brought to us tonight by Trackside Motorsports 2 and the St. Louis Karting Association. The driver of that center kart is Jonathan Strum, and it's owned by Cardi Strum. And that's a junior sportsman championship car, and that's for the second year in a row that Jonathan was the champion. Now, that sprint-looking car is a miniature sprint car that was built specifically to be a miniature sprint car. It's not a class of cars anywhere. It's just a replica of a sprint car. And they took this car to some sprint track races, and they let him run around the track at intermission at different times. The other car, sent to the other side, is a brand new TNR 425 shifter kart with a two-cycle Honda engine. Now, this is the fastest sprint kart class in the United States. It reaches speeds of 140 miles an hour. That kart is built by Margay here in St. Louis. Now, in the far corner, we have the yellow car, number 39 there. That's an ARCA car. Jim Sauter drove the car, Scott Legacy, David Green, David Waltmeyer, and Rich Bickle all drove that car. And that car led the most laps in ARCA this year. And I saw the car race at Springfield and DuQuoin with Dean Roper. They would have won DuQuoin except for an overheating problem. They had a big lead at that time. Pedigree is just signed on with them for a 3-year sponsorship, and they're looking to go to 5 NASCAR races in 1993. Over behind that car is the Junior Knepper Midget that Steve Knepper drives, and he was the MARA champion again. And that car was at the Terryville 100, which he won. He finished 8th in USAC points. He was 3rd on the Springfield Mile and 3rd at the Ford Crown Nationals in Eldora. Give all these people a hand that helped bring out these cars. It's also my pleasure to introduce to you the president of our fan club, Lois Taylor, who a lot of you don't realize all the work that goes into all the necessary things that have to be done during the year and all the hard work that Lois does. The board members probably see more because we seem to be more involved with the different things that goes on. And from the fan club board members, we'd like to present Lois with this pen and clock, which I'd like for her to come up here and see right now. Lois Taylor.
I keep telling him not to do this, but I will treasure this very much so because, as I told you last year at the banquet, this is my final 3 months as president of the club. Someone else will have the responsibility starting in February, and it is an interesting experience. It's a pleasurable experience. I've met a lot of wonderful people. I've had a lot of wonderful opportunities to grow in racing from having been an active participant with my husband Roger when we owned a car. And back a number of years ago, we were very fortunate that the fellow that we had chosen to drive our car was honored by the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club, and that's how I came to be involved in the club. And I hope that many of you out here in the audience tonight would become a member. We do a lot of neat things. We're here to support all of racing, all kinds in the St. Louis area, and as far up as Jeff City, Missouri, Springfield, DuQuoin, to the west side of the state, to Springfield, Missouri. We're chartered by the National Club, and we're given a lot of responsibilities to do, and I hope that maybe some of you, by your experience tonight, because I know many of you, this is your first time to be here. For others, you've been here many times before, and we're glad to have you all back. I do have and this year I can talk. For those of you who were here last year, you know I couldn't talk. So I do have a few things that I would like to share with you right now, just very briefly before we get into our presentation. This was a surprise, so I have to kind of wing it for a minute. But I would like to welcome you all to the 26th Annual Banquet of Champions. It is a dream that Dale Mueller had, who founded our club back in 1955, that at some point in time there would be an event where all of the champions from all tracks could be honored, where all of the participants in our beloved sport who achieved, whether it be nationally or a special champion of some type, or who was just a special person who helped others out in racing, could be honored. They started with a very small group of approximately 35 people, and Dale handmade all of those awards. And most of them were from wood, and there are a few people as I look around the room here who I know Bigler, and I believe Junior Knipper was around at that particular time, know what I'm talking about, and they did special events at that time too. But Dale's real dream was that an event like we have tonight, in a place like we have right here, and to bring all of these people together who work so hard, whether it be the drivers, the owners, the pit crew people, the sponsors, the promoters, the people who sell tickets, the media people, and I can go on, and when you start naming people, you always leave someone out, and I don't mean to do that. But a place where all of us could come together and end each season on a happy note, and that's what we hope to do tonight. We will honor a great number of people. I think most of you will recognize how deserving that they are, and then of course throughout the evening you will have the opportunity to hear some announcements that you might not know of, some things that are coming up for the 1993 season, so that's an opportunity that we will be able to share some information with you. There are some other events going on tonight, and unfortunately we did conflict with one banquet, and that's the St. Francis County Speedway banquet, and some of those drivers will be joining us a little later on in the evening after they get through with that event, and that is one unfortunate thing that we have had happen this year, but I will give you 1 year and 1 week's notice. You can all mark your calendar for the Saturday after Thanksgiving next year, and we'll be right back here in this room to do the same thing all over again. So mark your calendar, and everybody will know that that's the night our St. Louis Auto Racing Banquet will be held. In your program booklet, you will see a number of sponsors and a number of other people who have participated in the program. I would like to ask you to take the time to patronize those people because they put a lot of money into racing, and we all need to support them. Right now, there are also a number of people who help me throughout the year, and I would like to just recognize the head table and the officers of the club, and I'm going to start on my right, or your left, at the end of the table, our Vice President, George Hartnagel, and his wife, Sharon. Board of Directors member, Rob Myers, and his wife, Patty. One of our special guests for tonight, and a farmer champion who's been honored here, and a gentleman and his wife who are moving on up into racing, Carl Wallace and Mike Wallace. My husband, Roger Taylor. On my left, two gentlemen that I've had the pleasure of spending close to 18 weekends with this year on the ARCA Trail. From ARCA, Vice President Ron Drager, and the newly crowned ARCA champion in a very tight race, as most of the local champion races were in the St. Louis area, as competition gets tighter and tighter and much, much even. We see the championships being decided by very small point numbers, and it was right down to the wire, practically almost down to the last lap. The new ARCA champion, Bobby Bowser. They left the head table, which they weren't supposed to do, but our secretary and one of our trophy girls, Rhonda Sims, and her escort tonight, David Brown. And then also Board of Directors member, he's joined his table also, Mike Franson, also known as Mike Thunder in his racing days, and he's going to be doing that again this year in the St. Louis area, and his wife Carol. And our two master ceremonies for this evening, coming back for a repeat performance, and he does a top-notch job, Mike Muerer. And assisting with the interviews, Dorries. And then the rest of our officers are in the audience, and I would like to ask them to either wave or stand up. The treasurer of our club, John Thomason, and his wife Sue, right down here in front. Our membership secretary at this table, Gail White, and I'm sure Gail would be glad to take $10 from anybody tonight, right, Gail, and give them a membership card. Our board of directors members, Jim Vitek and his wife, over here to the side. And our sergeant at arms, and I have not seen him tonight, I hope he's here, Max Kirkendall and his wife. Those are the people that put the St. Louis Colors together. We have a fine organization, and I'm proud to be part of it, and I will be pleased to spend the next year on the board of directors and assist whoever the person is that is elected president in February. I know that all the new officers that will be coming in will do a fine job for you, and I hope that everybody can support them, and we'll go on to make racing even better than what it currently is right now. 1992 was a busy year for all the St. Louis racers and those people who participate in other parts of the country and come from St. Louis and the metropolitan area. Our fan clubs had a number of activities. We took some people up to Indy for time trials again. We had a large number of people go to Talladega for a NASCAR racing weekend and the ARCA weekend that goes on in May, and we will be repeating those two events. We were fortunate to be able to participate with the weather permitting at the majority of the racetracks. We got rained out at a few, but we were able to do our fan club nights at the track and honor those drivers who were winners that night. And we also were able to raise a substantial amount of money for our benevolent fund, and this is something that many of you may not know about. If a racer is injured or hopefully no one ever gets killed, but it does happen, the club has a benevolent fund and we're there to help, and we do activities on that point. We also conducted our Saturday meetings during the winter time. We showed videos, had a lot of special guests come out, and in fact, I'll mention our December meeting is coming up. There's information in your package about that. It's at the Tropicana Bowling Lanes. There will be a puppet show for the kids. We can accommodate up to 200 people first Saturday night in December. So please plan on being there, and we'll show you a great time. We're also going to do something a little different this year, as different races are on television. The people who own Tropicana have agreed to bring in big screen TVs, and we will be having some big screen racing parties, which will be going back to the days when we had our movie parties and car shows, and we've been able to put that back together again. I would like to recognize just a few St. Louis racers who could not be here and are mentioned in your program. Many of you may not know that Bobby Rahall's car is owned locally by Carl Hogan from Hogan Trucking Company. And they had quite a great year. They won the point championship by 2 points. And we had a special invitation out to Bobby to be with us tonight. But when you win the championship in USAC in the kart series, your life is no longer your own. So neither one of those gentlemen were able to be with us tonight. We're also very fortunate to have the Budweiser Brewery here in St. Louis and to sponsor, like the car over here in the corner. They support many racing people, many cars. And of course, Bill Elliott was in the hunt till almost at the end this weekend for the championship there. So we could have brought another championship back to the St. Louis area. The individual who did take the championship, Alan Kowicki, is from up north, but the guy who crew chiefs that car is from Fenton, Missouri, and his name is Paul Andrews. And it is our hope to have him in a future banquet. We have honored him for his mechanical ability a number of years ago, so we had a part in Alan Kowicki's achieving that championship. And then, of course, we have our most well-known people that have gone off from the St. Louis area, Rusty and Kenny Wallace. Rusty's car being over here in the corner. And then, of course, Kenny Schrader, who's been a longtime fan club member and a real good supporter of us. We had our usual events at the ARCA and USAC shows at Springfield and DuQuoin, and we will be looking to do those again next year. And I hope that all of you might have a free weekend and be able to attend, because those are two great shows, and the club is very active in what goes on at those two particular speedways. The year never goes by without a few losses, and unfortunately this last year we did have a few people that we lost, and I think all of us were extremely saddened to lose Arnie Knepper, but Arnie fought a valiant fight. I think all of us in this room can be extremely proud that we knew him and that he was the kind of individual that he was, to be part of racing and his entire family. And later on this evening I'll be telling you a little bit about something that we plan to do in future years in connection with remembering Arnie. We also had the unfortunate experience to lose someone that probably a lot of you don't know was close to the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club. And I had the great fortunate experience to have many contacts with this man, and I was really sorry to see him go, and I think we will all remember him. But he's responsible for the club being able to do things with ARCA, with the Talladega Speedway, with Daytona 500. And I know I was particularly saddened because I used to have the opportunity about once a month to get a call from Bill France Sr., and I know we're all sorry that he will no longer be with us, but he built a great sport, and I think we can all carry it on. And then, of course, we lost Cliffy Allison this summer, and we also lost an official from USAC at a racing accident. And then within the club, we lost Jean Mueller, who was the wife of Bob Mueller, who was very supportive of our club, and who later on this evening we will be presenting an award, as we have done in a number of years, in Bob's memory. Those are just some of the people that I can think of, and I'm probably sure there are others, but we have also gained many new people to our sport, and I think for everyone we lose, there are two who come along to take their place and to carry the sport on. There's one person I would like for you to hold in your thoughts tonight, and some of the people who are close to him are not here, but Bill O'Danny, who's been with us for a number of years, had surgery day before yesterday. Very serious, a urinary tract problem. We're hoping that Bill will recover, because if we were to lose Bill O'Danny, that would be a great loss to us here in this area, because he is a really behind-the-scenes kind of person, and he makes the Illinois State Fair racing program at both Springfield and DuQuoin really tick. So think about Bill, send him a card. We'll publish his address, and a number of the fan club members have gone up there to Springfield to help assist Bill's family with getting through this particular hard time for them. This is the second major illness that Bill has had, and we really wish him well. I mentioned earlier the packages that and the programs that were on your chairs when you came in. There's a lot of information in there about club activities and the local tracks and things that they are doing. So take the time to read through it. Plus, we also have added just some fun kind of things in there, some bumper stickers and pins and things like that. I hope that, as I said earlier, that you will decide to spend $10 tonight and join us to become a St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club member. It's been a great experience for me to be president, and I look forward to being involved in racing in the future years, and I hope to see all of you back again at the racetracks and back again in this room. And just remember, you don't have to be a champion to come to the banquet. You can come back and help honor those who maybe have achieved a champion in the next year. So with that, I thank you all for coming. Local racers, tonight's your night. Have a good time. I think we've got a fun evening planned for you. And from there, I'll give it back to Mike Muerer for the purpose of recognizing our national and special awards.
started, before we get too much further into the program, on that note, I'd like to remind everybody about one sponsor. He's not here tonight, but he wanted to give me a plug. Craig Heinberger owns Heine's Bar and Grill in Collinsville, and Craig has been a great supporter of automobile racing, stock car racing in the area. Past president of Southwestern, he raced at Belleville with Allied, all over the place. Heine's getting out of the bar business, and he's having his farewell party next Saturday night. So if you're near Collinsville, Illinois, stop by and see Mr. Heinberger. He also is getting out of the marriage business, and that is one of the reasons he's getting out of the bar business. And that's like losing a race and being called an illegal motor, ain't it, Donnie? You know what I mean? That's a double header. At this time, we like to recognize the area national champions that have gained recognition for their feats, throughout the Midwest. First of all, I do want to mention Dennis Dorries is with me tonight. We have Rhonda Sims and Janet Boston. They'll be giving out the trophies. You'll go ahead for Janet and Rhonda because they're very nice young ladies and they work very hard. And we thank them for being here. To begin with, once again, we'd like to recognize national champions. The first champion we'd like to bring up is Mr. Randy Burnett. Randy, where are you at? Why don't you step over here and see Danny? You may or may not know this, but this is the two-time national points champion. He's a kart racer. He's in the 8th grade at Rockwood South Junior High School. He's the national point champion in 2 classes in 1992. Restricted Junior and USA 820 Junior with the Midwest Regional Series. He's a 2-time point champion in Midwest Karting Series, World Karting Association 1992. This young man is in the 8th grade, been racing for 5 years, and attained 2 national championship honors. Give a nice round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Quick so that you can get home for your curfew for this evening. Is that okay? Randy, you haven't been racing a whole lot of years, but you've got a lot of racing under your belt, 2 championships already. What else is there to do?
Well, we're going to try to do the same stuff we did this year and run some more races. Try to do the same thing we did this year, basically.
Well, if you win 2 championships in 2 different divisions, what do you do with your spare time?
Homework.
What kind of goals do you have set for later on in your future in racing?
I'd like to run stock cars or Indy cars or something like that.
Stock cars or Indy cars or something like that? You want a bank?
No, I wish.
You need some sponsors, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to thank a couple sponsors. Margay Racing, Profile Racing, Builder Motors, Mom and Dad. We had a nice picture down in Charlotte, North Carolina over the September. Mike and Carl Wallace helped us out down there a lot. They threw me a big birthday party because it was my birthday down there when we raced. Mike came by just to say hi and all that.
Well, it sounds like you've got a lot of good people behind you. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for Randy Burnett?
The next honoree is not here this evening, but we would like to acknowledge his accomplishments. For the 2nd year in a row, Larry Phillips has won the NASCAR Racing Championship, the Points Championship. He's won the last 3 out of 4, and he just continues to get better with age. This guy, if they bottled him, he'd be worth a lot of money. He just keeps going faster. He races consistently every season. And at this time, we'd like to acknowledge NASCAR champion, Mr. Larry Phillips, ladies and gentlemen. Give Larry. The next person we'd like to talk with, we're not presenting an award, though he has received awards here. He's one of our special guests this evening. He is the 3rd of 3 Wallaces that has made his presence known in NASCAR and ARCA. Mike was just fantastically fast, and I know everybody, as I did, rooted for him for being from the St. Louis area. We like to cheer for the hometown guys, and Kenny and Rusty and Kenny Schrader, Rusty Wallace, Kenny Wallace, everybody's doing a great job for us. Now we have Mike trying to get in the ranks down there. He set the pole at Atlanta, 176.390, new track record, ladies and gentlemen. He went out and led 100 laps of the race and finished 5th in a great race down in Atlanta, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mike Wallace. Mike.
And we all know we don't have to worry about a curfew with Mike here, man. He's plenty old. Well, Mike, once again, congratulations. A great job in Atlanta, and I don't care what you say about what you did during your season. You had to finish it on a note that's got to put you in a good frame of mind for next year.
Well, we sure did. We've had a real up and down season. We a year ago moved to the Charlotte area, formerly from St. Louis here, and thought we had everything going the way we wanted to. So you get down here and you got everything going great, then you lose a ride, then you skip around. And the last 5 or 6 races this year we ran real well, and going to Atlanta, setting on the pole there in ARCA race. Then we finished 5th, finished 20th in the Winston Cup race on Sunday. Got a lot of momentum going into next year. It appears we're going to run the full Busch Car National schedule next year, along with 5 Winston Cup races and then 4 or 5 ARCA races, just the speedway races.
Well, after taking the checker flag in your arts race, you had to really be pumped for that Sunday race. What did it do for you?
Well, the ARCA race, every racer that's sitting out here knows how it is. When you got a real fast race car and you've dominated the race in the early stages, you're disappointed that you run 5th. So we were happy with it. We were dealing with 2 different cars. We had a Pontiac on Saturday and had a Ford on Sunday. The cars drive different. The characteristics of them are different. So, the confidence booster, Atlanta's always been good to me. I've been there, sat on the front row now twice, finished 2nd there once in 3 out of 3 races. So we were looking good for Sunday.
Well, for a short period of time, what you had done, got the car, purchased it on Monday, got it together and left on Tuesday, got down and did a little bit of practicing and set the track record. Had to be an astounding thing for you, and we wish you the best of luck in 1993, and I'm sure you got a couple of people you'd like to thank.
Well, I very much do. Thank you very much. And, the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club's always been good to Mike Wallace and his family and our whole family, and we appreciate that very much. There's a few people, some of them are here and some of them aren't. One person I'd like to at this moment, Bob Quinn, who's sitting up here at the front table. Bob Quinn, I went to racing. He's helped me tremendously for the year. He still continues. I think of an deduction on his taxes early on. He helps me out. Don Kern, of course, everybody knows here in the St. Louis area, and Dan Altoff, now Altoff Trucking. Those 3 guys are really instrumental to me in being able to go racing. And one thing that I can probably tell everybody that races on a local level, fortunately, we're trying to make it on a more professional level, but you have to always remember those people that helped you along the way. And once you get to professional levels, it's just harder. It's not as much fun. It's harder. You get more rewards out of it. But remember your sponsors that helped you along the way. Try to start now and make a real professional program out of your racing, because that's what you're going to need if you make it there.
Well, Mike, we appreciate your dedication and coming back here this evening and spending time with us. We wish you the best of luck in 1993. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause once again for Mike Wallace.
As Lois mentioned when she introduced the head table, we have some other special guests with us this evening, including Mike. At this time, we'd like to acknowledge, ladies and gentlemen, introduce to you the winner of the ARCA race this year at the Illinois State Fairgrounds in Springfield. He comes to us from Springfield, Ohio. He's the 1992 ARCA champion. He is also a 2-time champion. He drives a Quality Farm and Fleet Ford. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. ARCA 1992, Bobby Ballester. Just give him some with a B on it. There you go. Yeah, this guy won it.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get Bobby up there and get a couple words from Bob. It's pretty neat to watch TV, sit in your living room, and have a chance to watch people like Mike Wallace do a really good job on Saturday in the ARCA race. And you come back on Sunday, and you see something else in this division that's indicative of things in the St. Louis area. We've had a points championship many places around the St. Louis area. NASCAR as well, and here in ARCA, that came down to that last race, those last couple of laps, those last checkered flag, and no matter how many points you win by whether it's 100 or 100,000, you still are the champion. This young man season. And second generation driver, his dad Jack's the caller, his brother Gary is the crew chief. What a family, ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Boucher.
Well, I want to thank everybody for having me here tonight. And last year we come awful close to winning the first championship, and it just wasn't meant to be. We blew 2 engines last 2 races, but this year made up for it. You know, we was 350 points behind going into the Springfield race, and we ended up winning the next 2 after that. And we just never stopped from there. We just kept digging and digging, and Bob Keselowski had some terrible luck, and we just took advantage of it and come down to the last race, and we just had to do what we had to do, and that was finish, which we never do at Atlanta, but we did that time. But we did what we had to do, and we come away with the championship.
Well, they always say in some of the closing laps of these real important races like this, you hear all kinds of things, and you think all kinds of problems are going to happen. There was a few crashes and stuff. You would have a chance to make it through and able to finish. What kind of thoughts go through your mind when these things are happening?
You can only miss, you can't miss them all. Sooner or later, you're going to get caught up in a deal. But we was fortunate enough to stay out of trouble and finish the race. We didn't run quite as well as we wanted to, but you know, sometimes that happens. But we put the quality runner fleet forward, Thunderbird and Baker going for the championship. We're very happy.
What are we looking forward to in 1993?
Well, we're going to do the same program next year. We're getting a lot of support from Ford Motor Company. It looks like it. I can't exactly tell you right now, but they're going to stay behind us and they're going to push us along the way. And I think that they're just giving me a lot of support and a lot of attention. I think it's going to pay off later down the road.
Okay, besides 1993, you have to have a vision 4 or 5 years down the line. What kind of vision do you have?
Winston Cup racing. I mean, just got to take my time, you know, like I did trying, winning the championship. I don't want to do it too fast because, if you do it too fast, you're liable to fall fast. So we just need to take our time and we'll be there.
All you need is dedication, and this gentleman was dedicated, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause, Bobby Boucher.
Not with us this evening is the DuQuoin State Fair Southern 150 winner, Bob Shach. I can say it without looking at it. Shach. The magic drink, okay. But he's not here, and we'd like to congratulate Bob. Can we give Bob a nice round of applause for the big win down at DuQuoin? We don't have Bob, but we have the Vice President of ARCA accepting his award. The Vice President of ARCA, Dan, Ron Dreyer, ladies and gentlemen, give a nice round. You're at the tail on it. Give Ron Dreyer from ARCA, VP, a nice round of applause. He goes down and stuff again. Oh, we have to do the presentation and the pictures. These will be mailed to your wife.
I've already instructed him to be polite.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Ron, we're not going to ask you to spell potato. Maybe I'll just ask you to spell race car or something like that. But you have to be really proud of the ARCA organization and the type of competition that you've had this year is some of the best that I've seen in the ARCA competition. And getting a championship to be decided at the last race is always a promoter's dream. You've had a great year.
Yeah, things went extremely well this year. We've always kind of positioned the ARCA series as a place for anybody that wants to aspire to step up just a bit from maybe a weekly type operation to come up and take your shot. It doesn't require a great deal more of money or effort than you're doing for your weekly thing. And we've had a lot of good racers come through our series. Some of them have found ARCA to be a place they want to stay and spend their careers. Some of them have moved on. And a lot of people from your area have come through our series. Ken Schrader's first super speedway race was with us. Mike Wallace is with us now. People like Dick Taylor. And we appreciate the support we've gotten from this region of the country.
As in most other organizations, ARCA is really improving every year. We all want to improve. You've got a lot of things to look forward to in 1993. A lot of good sponsorship this year and some good TV coverage. We're going to be seeing some more races on TV in 93.
Yeah, we'll have 6 races on ESPN and TNN, and that's a good opportunity for a racer to come and run on a super speedway and get some notoriety and show what he can do and hopefully that'll let him step his way up the ladder. TV is very important to us, and we appreciate all the coverage that we've got.
Well, Ron, we want to thank you once again for stopping by your busy schedule. Mark, always supporting the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club. And we hope to see you guys back here again next year. And say good hi to Jim Carter, would you please? Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of ARCA, Ron Garrett.
We start getting a little bit closer, I guess, to the St. Louis area as we introduce the next two champions. First of all, from I-44 Speedway this year, the late model champion. He's got his car this evening. Nice round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Steve Shives. Steve Shives. I'll tell you, when I walked in this evening and looked over that car and saw that race car, I said, "Who's this?" They said, "Steve Shives." I said, "Not." I said, "There's fenders on it." They said, "No." He got big time on it. Steve Shives, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, Steve, congratulations on your championship, and it had to be a really exciting thing for you to do. Been around here all these years in these dirt places, and you go down and you start doing something like you're doing. Pretty exciting.
Yeah, for us, the first championship, it is really exciting, and it came down to be between Bert and I. So, two guys from St. Louis, 3 hours from home, and we're trying to win the deal, and we don't even have homework to do like Randy. And it's our first championship, so it meant quite a bit to us. And I'd like to thank our sponsors, Anheuser-Busch and Lincoln Steel, and my wife and the family crew. They all have full-time jobs, and we pile in that truck on Fridays, and they all call off work or whatever they got to do, cheat, get out of town, and we get down to Bolivar and to race, and I'd like to thank them for their efforts for that.
Well, that's good, and we appreciate your effort in coming over here again this evening. Was it kind of a different thing to get in a car that had big fenders on it like that?
Oh, no, not really. I mean, the cars, the late model cars all have fenders, and everybody gets close and rubs, so it's really not that much different, other than you try to keep them straight and tail underneath you.
So you're telling me this type of racing is also a contact sport?
No, not really. They say that's racing, is what they say.
Racing is a contact sport. Well, Steve, once again, I'd like to congratulate you on your championship and wish you best of luck. What are you looking forward to for 1993?
Well, what we'll try to do is stay in the Mid-America region again and race the Winston Racing Series and see if we can't get up in the point standings a little more.
Well, sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause. Stevie Shives.
The next individual we'd like to recognize started in go-kart racing. He's won just a tremendous amount of championships over the past 13 years. He's won 10 championships. This year at I-44 Speedway, Joe Walsh is the 1992 NASCAR Grand American Modified Champion. He's from Fenton, Missouri. Give him a nice round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Walsh. I can't tell you how old Joe is, but his face is just starting to break out. Yeah. This young man has done a tremendous job, and again, from the St. Louis area, we congratulate him for a fine season, and he's going to go over and talk to Denny now, and we'll learn a little bit more about it.
Hope you prepared good for this, Joe. This shouldn't be anything new to Joe. He's been up here many times throughout the years, all the championships he has under his belt in karting. It's a whole world of difference to go from little go-karts and to get into the big cars and do what you done the last couple of years. Has it been an enjoyable thing?
Yeah, it has been a big difference jumping into the cars from the go-karts. It's been harder on me and on the crew and my dad, but we made it work and ended up winning a championship this year.
What do you think is one of the biggest or the hardest, I guess, things to do to go to this type of racing after riding as low to the ground as you had for so many years, and now all of a sudden you've got all this power in your feet? What kind of difference is that?
Well, you got to get used to the cars being bigger, and it's a little bit more tighter competition, I believe.
Do they hit harder when you hit something?
Yeah, they hit a lot harder because you're going a lot faster.
Okay, what are you planning on doing for 1993? You've had a good, successful year this year, and you're really pumped up to get started again for 1993. What do you plan on doing?
Next year we plan on racing the late model around Bolivar, I-70, Odessa, Lebanon, and try to go for the Mid-America Championship.
Do you have homework to do too?
Yeah, I did. This is my last year in school. I'm a senior. I'd also like to thank my sponsors, Tech Pack Fits All, Quality Transmission, Kern Racing Engines, and my crew. They all did such a great job this year. And one of them's down in Florida right now working for trying to keep this dually truck that we have so he can tow my car back and forth to the races.
You notice how these guys change the subject all the time to get on all these sponsors? Pretty neat at a young age. You got the right track. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe Walsh.
When he was up here a moment ago, Steve Schott mentioned that he had a tremendous battle down at I-44 with Bert Cheatham. Bert and Steve have raced in the area. I'm sure you've seen him over the past several years. But it was not a lost season for Mr. Cheatham. Bert is the 1992 late model champion in Bolivar Speedway in Bolivar, Missouri. Let's give him a nice round of applause. Bert Cheatham, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Bert comes up, if anybody's got any extra asphalt around here, we could maybe use a little asphalt racetrack, only because Bolivar and I-44 is a little long way to go. And Mike, it gets lonely out on I-44 about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, Bert, is it right you did say earlier this evening you had anybody that beat you, you'd like to see Stevie beat you?
No, that's true. He gave us a good run all year, and he finally ended up on top, so I guess he won the fight.
It's got to be fun going, like Mike was talking about, that far away from home. We don't get a chance to go there that many weekends. And race with people that you thought you were going to get rid of when you left the dirt tracks, and you got to race with them every week again.
Yeah, everybody seems to be sneaking down there. It's a really nice facility. Bill Willard, he's a track owner, and Diana Hall's promoter, and they do an excellent job in promoting and maintaining the track.
It doesn't look like anybody's going to have any problem handling the competition. You're doing a pretty good job. What were some highlights of 1992 that you'd like to let the people know about?
Well, we won 4 features, and we ended up winning the season championships at both tracks, and we won the overall championship for the 2 tracks, and we're real happy. And it seemed like every time Larry Phillips would come down there, he'd beat up on us, so we're hoping it's just a car, because we bought one of his cars for next year.
You got a good jump on the situation the way it is. Speaking of 1993, and I know you want to get your sponsors in here somewhere, you can do that. We want to give you permission this time. What do you plan on doing for 93?
Well, we're going to try again for the 2 track champions and move up in the region, try to win the region. Larry said he's not going to try for it, so that's going to give us a little bit better opportunity. And I'd like to thank Dan Altoff Trucking and Orville Altoff of Altoff Contracting, John Novotny Chevrolet of Granite City, Illinois. They gave us a lot of help over the years, and we appreciate it.
Do you think Larry Phillips could be lying?
Well, he's been known to do that on occasion.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause? Bert Cheatham, congratulations, Bert. And it is interesting, you talk about Larry Phillips. Lois called Kenny Schrader to try to have Kenny go beat on Larry and say, hey, man, why don't you get up there to St. Louis? People keep honoring you year after year. You never go down there. And Kenny said to Lois, you don't tell Larry Phillips what to do. Larry does what he wants to do. He's not here.
While we're talking about sponsors, Ron Drager from Market reminded me that Bob Schatt is from Chapin, South Carolina, and he drives the Pronto Auto Parts Oldsmobile, so we don't get any nasty letters Monday morning from the Pronto people, because I know Don Klein was writing something down about me over here a while ago. At this time, we'd like to recognize the track champions. They will come forward, receive their plaque, and we'll take their picture and get on with the program. 1992 Allied Auto Racing Association, kind of an unusual situation. They raced 2 tracks for part of the season, then finished the season at I-55 in Peabody, Missouri. There are 2 limited sportsman track champions, and then we have a limited sportsman overall champion. We'll start with the individual track champions. First of all, a guy that drives not a really, I want to call it different, but it's different because there's not a whole lot of Mopars on the racetracks anymore around this area. But Sonneman kind of prefers the Chrysler product, and Mike Sonneman from Hazelwood, Missouri was the limited sportsman champion with Allied. Let's give Mike a nice round of applause, and is he here? There he is, right here. He has a tremendous sponsor. The Elks Club sponsored the car, and he promotes Say No to Drugs on the race car, and I appreciate him doing that for the kids in the stands. Mike Sonneman, ladies and gentlemen. Another limited sportsman champion from Belleville, Illinois with Allied this year. He's been around the sportsman ranks for several years, does a fine job, has great equipment, great family, great support team. From Belleville, Illinois, limited sportsman champion, Mr. Bobby Biddle, ladies and gentlemen. Bob Biddle. Bobby and Limited Sportsman Champion for 1992 with Allied. Hails from Livingston, Illinois. Love to call him the Italian Stallion, Mr. Bobby Martintoni, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get it for you, Bob. Just take the trophy, okay? Congratulations again, Bobby Martintoni, ladies and gentlemen. In the street stock division, and probably, I am, and this is not a war story, this is just to draw a picture. If they said, what would you rather do, be a street stock driver with Allied or go back to Vietnam for a year, I have to think about it. You know what I mean? This is not an easy place to race. It's tough. I mean, real tough. You might as well just drive your car through a forest of trees to kind of loosen it up, you know what I mean, before you bring it out the first night, because it's going to get loosened up for you. This young man that won the overall street stock championship, believe he deserved it. He drives a big car, and you need to drive a big car in the street stock division with Allied. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1992 overall street stock champion, Mr. Johnny Bauer. Is Peggy here? Finish, Peggy. I didn't recognize you. And finally, last but not least, as far as Allied in 1992, we'd like to introduce to you a man that really has written the record books for Allied. 8-time overall Allied champion, 7 consecutive years, 86 to 92, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He's a hard charger. This guy tries to put every bit of motor he could get onto the ground. He sprayed a lot of people in a lot of grandstands with dirt, and I know someone tried to throw it back at him a couple of times, but he's a fine gentleman and a fine racer. The overall Allied Modified Champion for 1992, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ed Dixon. Accepting for Ed Dixon is Charlie. Okay, our Sandy. Come on, Chuck, come on up. Here, come on up. This is Sandy and Charlie Barzov. Come on, Sandy. Come on, Sandy. You're up halfway up. You get up here and get this thing. I have to tell you, these are new parents. New parents. Sandy and Charlie had a little girl this year and a great racing season. And Sandy said that if right next to Doc Hunter's book is 8.5 by 11s of her daughter, she's selling for $10 and no money. She's taking off. Give a nice round of applause. Okay, now Lois said, scoop time. Joe Center's here, and Joe does a lot of writing for the paper, and I don't think Joe was able to get this scoop flash in this week's edition of Speed Sport News, though he did have some information about various racetracks and programs for 1993. I would like to announce at this time, for those of you who don't know, Allied Auto Racing Association will be at Tri-City Speedway for the 1993 season. They'll race 5 classes of cars on the half mile, 360 wing sprinters, these are limited sprinters, Allied Modifieds, and Pro Stock, 3 classes on the half mile. Sportsman and street stock on the quarter mile. Practice is open to all cars April 23rd and 30th as they go racing over with Bobby Winnie at Tri-City Speedway in Granite City, Illinois. Congratulations to Allied and Bobby, and wish you a great season. Should be fun watching those cars on the half mile. And once again, we'd like to congratulate Bob Gallus and his entire crew for promoting the limited 360 sprint cars. It's a great starter class to get involved with. It seems to be taken off as some of the other different types of cars in the area. You know, people change. We're talking a lot more about IMC modifieds this year than we were before, and I think the 360 wing sprinters are going to do a fine job too. So congratulations and best luck with Bob Gallus and his team. We raced this year at Belclair Speedway in Belleville, Illinois. They had 3 classes of cars. Same 3 will be back in 1993: street stocks, modifieds, and sportsman cars. The street stock champion, I'm talking about by 2 points, just eked out the championship. We'd like to introduce this time, he's here, I didn't see him tonight, Mr. Bill Clausen. Billy Clausen is the street stock champion for Belleville in 1992. Go ahead, thank you. we'll give that trophy to him later. We also had a sportsman champion, and this guy had a great season. He was racing here, racing there. The guys got on the truck and they just closed their eyes, and when the truck stopped, they opened it up and they said, "We're at a racetrack." And Bobby Biddle, ladies and gentlemen, 1992, Buffalo Speedway sportsman champion. That's Bobby's wife. I won't say it. I could have said it, but I won't say it. We also had some good quality modified competition available in 1992. This year's winner comes from one of my favorite towns, Marissa, Illinois. And the reason I like Marissa, Illinois so much is that they get behind everything that somebody from Marissa does. You know what I mean? Spaghetti eating guy from Marissa, they turn off the lights. I mean, literally the whole town goes. You know what I mean? Friday nights, McClintock races, everybody goes. He had tremendous support. He drove hard all season long, and he deserves the championship. Mr. Mark McClintock, ladies and gentlemen, 1992, modified champion at Banquet Speedway. I believe he was a lot faster in a race car. Congratulations again to Mark McClintock. I have the pleasure of presenting the first of our special awards this evening, and it is the Bob Mueller Memorial Award. For those of you who don't know Bob was one of those great behind-the-scenes guys. You know, everybody pulls up, and we take, I think, a lot of things for granted in life. You know what I mean? You know, we just don't realize sometimes what goes on. Obviously, if you're a racer in the pitch, you know what it takes to get a program on. But a lot of people get out of their car, they go and sit down, get a bag of popcorn, boo, hiss, holler, have a good time, and go home. It's not that easy. There's a lot of work, advertisement, track maintenance, employees, people, car count. It never ends. Bob Mueller was a tremendous guy in relation to what he did behind the scenes to make sure everything went right. When he couldn't help a promoter or somebody at a racetrack, he was helping racers, helping them get their cars on and off the trailer. Whatever needed to be done, Bob Mueller was there and did it. At this time, Mr. Quinn, would you come forward in conjunction with the presentation of this program? Bob Quinn, ladies and gentlemen. And Bob's an example of what Mike Wallace mentioned a while ago, a guy that's out there supporting you. He's not out there for the glory or for some kind of a head trip. He just enjoys racing and wants to see it succeed. And I think the winner of tonight's Robert A. Mueller Award also feels the same way. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the 1992 Robert A. Mueller Memorial Award winner, Mr. Mike Null, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Null. Give a nice round of applause. Mr. Mike Null, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, we'd like to honor the champions from the Godfrey Speedway in Godfrey, Illinois. And if my Speed Sport News and Joe Center are correct, there will be 3 nights of racing, including incorporating 3 racetracks: Godfrey on Friday, Peabody on Saturday, and St. Charles on Sunday. Late models, IMCA modified, street stock. Again, this is a testimonial, and again, we take this for granted. I grew up in an area, as many of you have, that have had racetracks all over the place. There are parts of the country, there are some states that don't have any. I mean, South Dakota Speedway, I don't know. You know what I mean? We've got 10 or 15 of them, again, at our fingertips. We have tremendous racing, and again, as a real lover of the sport, I wish everybody the best of luck on each and every weekend in 1993. At this time, we'd like to recognize the 3 champions. First of all, in the Pro Stock Division, Mr. Rick Rhodes, ladies and gentlemen. Rick Rhodes. been a long-time racer in the area. I know that he's worked very hard, as all the drivers have, to obtain these championships. And Rick, we'd like to, again, congratulate you and wish you good luck in 1993. Rick Rose, ladies and gentlemen. This next winner in the IMCA Modified Division comes from a big family of racers. The Seats name is well known throughout the area. They're very competitive, they have good equipment, and they don't know the word slow. The 1992 Godfrey Motor Speedway IMCA Modified Champion is Mr. Jake Seats, ladies and gentlemen. Jake Seats. Still a Ford? Still a Ford, okay. It worked out this year. Jake, congratulations. Jake Seats, ladies and gentlemen. And in the late model division, UMP late model division, I don't know, is Dick here tonight? He is good. I didn't see him come in. This guy has been racing very competitively for the last, how many years, Dick? I mean, you know, you're always around, you're always there. You've got cars and family involved like many racing teams do. At this time, we'd like to honor and congratulate the Godfrey Motor Speedway UMP late model champion for 1992, Mr. Dick Taylor, ladies and gentlemen. Dick Taylor. Dick's got tired. He came down from Springfield. Long ride. It's a lot longer when you don't have to unload some and race it, you know what I mean? At least you got something to look forward to. But again, congratulations, Dick Taylor, ladies and gentlemen. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Who, this is Mr. Gibson. Call him who? Who? What do you got there?
Well, we could give this to the high point man at the end of the season. We have each feature winner sign the hat at the end of the features, and the high point man gets the hat at the end of the year.
Congratulations, Dick. Was that the Kathy and Larry thing? Or is Kathy and Larry still coming up? Kathy and Larry Walters from Godfrey, or do you have another one, or was that it? Tell me. Hello? Okay. Thanks. Just tell me. That's all for me for right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Denny Dorries.
You sure that was it? Okay. Our next award, once again, we lost a great member of the racing fraternity this season, but this young man is going to carry on the name of the sport, open wheel racing. Anytime he gets in an open wheel car, he puts the hammer down, he goes fast, he wins races. Tonight, we're going to honor him for his 5th championship in the Midwest Auto Racing Association, ladies and gentlemen. How about a big round of applause? 5-time track champion, Stevie Knipper. And accept the award will be Walter Knipper, Stevie's father, car owner, mentor, backer, financer. I'm glad you got rushed. I run out of things to say. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for the Knipper family, the Midwest Auto Racing Association. And next, we also always like to remember the youngsters. They start out at a very young age in some of the quarter midgets, and they advance, and many of them go on to some big names in racing, Winston Cup, and a lot of open wheel racing, the Indy cars. We always like to recognize the youngsters, and if we have a representative in the audience, we'd like for you to come up, and we'd like to recognize the Southern Illinois Quarter Midget Association. Anyone here to pick up the award? Mike, you want to pick up the award? No, not, okay. Don Pine? No, Don Pine won't pick up the award. How about a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, the Southern Illinois Quarter Midget Association. Back to you, Mike.
Thanks, Danny. This season, I was also the announcer at the Highland Speedway in Highland, Illinois, Southwestern Auto Racing Association. They also had a fine season, no rainouts, and the Fair Board was very happy about that. Rain does play an important part in the outdoor racers season, and we did catch Mother Nature through the regular SARI program. At this time, we'd like to acknowledge the track champions at Highland Speedway for 1992. But before we do, I'd like to remind you also that they're running their regular Saturday night program in 1993 with modifieds, sportsman, and street stock cars. And we do have some officials here this evening from SARA if you need to know motor rules, specs, or any kind of details. The street stock champion for 1992 had a tremendous lead going into about the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I started talking about the fact that he had a lead. He started getting scared and really almost hit the panic button, but he always had a well-maintained race car. He was a gentleman, and I congratulate him in 1992 street stock champion at Highland, Mr. Rick Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, Rick Johnson. Here comes Rick, and as he comes by, he's a happy guy. He comes back in 93, Rick. What are you going to race? Same thing, street stock again. He's going to try it 2 in a row. He likes this part. It's all worth it. Rick Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, 1992 street stock line. We had, as most racetracks do, that have 3 classes of cars that have a race program that's been around for several years. Very competitive racing on Saturday nights. Street stock was competitive below Rick Johnson. Rick kind of ran away with it. Our sportsman cars, again, put on a good show, and it went right down to the wire for the championship. This year, a young man from Belleville, Illinois, drove a green and white race car. Never understand that, but I guess it's a fashionable color. Let's give a nice round of applause, Mr. Roger Foney, ladies and gentlemen. Sportsman champion. Is he wearing a green? Is that a green shirt? It should be. If it's not. Roger's wife works at Famous and Barnes. She took off work. She called in sick. Say, I know this, okay. She's missing the sale. She was supposed to work till midnight, but she snuck out for the banquet. We had a great modified season also. It went right down to the wire. The last night, 3 drivers were mathematically in it for the modified championship. And this man that came out on top wins his 6th championship, an unprecedented record at Highland Speedway. No one else has won that many championships in any division. A nice round of applause from Summerfield, Mr. Dennis Sellers. Dennis Sellers. Congratulations again to all the champions. And Danny, go ahead. Absolutely, please. Don't let me stop you. If you want to clap, you can clap right here. At this time, we'd like to turn the program back over to the president of the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club, Lois Taylor, boss.
Thank you, Mike. I'd like to move to some of the special awards that the club honors various racing participants with. And one of those, it goes to people within the media. Media is very important to racing. If we didn't have the media, we wouldn't be able to let people know that racetracks were open, that it was a fun event for them to go to. Media includes those people who are involved in TV, radio, the newspapers, videos, just almost any kind of form of communications that we can tell our story about the racing community. 2 very special people we would like to honor tonight, and 1 newspaper. And first of all, I would just like to give you a little background about one of the individuals that we're honoring. In previous years, we've honored some of those people who have wrote for many years, have taken pictures for many years. And as I said earlier, we lose some people and others come along to take their places. Well, we have a new young writer in the St. Louis area who's been taking his own personal time to write articles. He does a fantastic job writing about Allied Auto Racing Associations and their various tracks, and also reports on other racing articles for one of the papers here. I'd like to ask Joe Prince to come up and be recognized by the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club for the purpose of receiving a media award. I'd like to ask Joe to remain up here because I understand that one of the representatives from his newspaper might be with us tonight. Didn't make it. Joe writes for the St. Genevieve Herald, and through his contacts with the newspaper has been successful in getting many articles about all kinds of racing published. And I think we need to encourage more of that activity, and I'd like to ask Joe then to accept an award for the St. Genevieve Herald. The highest award that the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club presents is the Dale Mueller Award. As I mentioned earlier, Dale was our founder of the club, and one of the things that he was very interested in was photography. And when Dale was killed at the Illinois State Fair in a racing accident, the club decided to create an award to honor those people within the media who do an exceptional job of reporting to the community the activities that we participate in. One of those individuals that does that quite frequently for us and is even doing some things throughout the winter is with Channel 5 here locally. You know, you see him almost every night on the sports program, and he has had many of our local racers there to tell their stories. When we have had special guests in the St. Louis area, he goes out to the racetracks and he interviews them. And of course, I think all of you know the person I'm talking about is Mike Bush. I'm hoping that we will have him with us tonight. But one of the people that was instrumental in getting Mike to do this was Bobby Winnie. And Bobby went out to Mike and talked to him and has been very successful in getting Channel 5 to tell her racing story. So I'd like to ask Bobby Winnie to come up here on Mike Bush's behalf and accept the Dale Mueller Award, please. One of the other awards that the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club presents is an award that we call the Founders Award. And you can read in your program probably in greater detail than what I will be able to tell you about this award, but we have tried to, over the last few years, to recognize those people who try to further the sport by improving their facilities, by bringing new types of racing into the area. And there is a couple with us tonight that I think has worked extremely hard to do that. And I believe, and the club believes, that they deserve recognition for all their activities that they have done. They've been very supportive of the club. We look forward to working with them in the future. And I know for those of you who've been over at Godfrey Motor Speedway this year, you will see that Larry and Kathy Walters have done just a fantastic job. Larry and Kathy bought this facility, I guess about 2 years ago, recognizing that they had a lot of things that they would like to do and wanted to see racing continue over in the Alton Godfrey area when Webb Spalding decided that he wanted to sell the racetrack. So I think we owe these two people a great big thank you for stepping up to the challenge and not letting the business go. Also that the club likes to recognize is mechanical achievement. And over the last few years, we have recognized a number of racing participants for their ability to be able to put the winning race car on the track, to set that new track record, to do just all different kinds of things that you have to combine with the teamwork that the pit crew puts in. And this year, it is a very great pleasure for my part to recognize a whole team. Normally we have honored just an individual person, and I would like to ask the board's office to come up here and accept an award from St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club for being our mechanical achievers this year. Dixon was a success in his his own right when he was racing with his dad, Mel. But these two combining have put together a great effort and continue to be a dominant force. We'll get the photo line up here, correct? And Eddie and Charlie and the crew, you continue to be repeat champions. We congratulate you. And we'd just like to mention also that at Springfield and Decline, it is the club's pleasure to recognize the chief mechanics on both days. The car that sets the fast time for those races, and we present those awards at the racetrack. But we would like to just recognize those people. It's been a pleasure over the year to recognize Junior Canova on that basis, and just a number of other people in the audience. So for all of you who take the time and the effort to twist those wrenches and do all those things that are necessary to put that car on the track, congratulations. Now I'd like to
We'd like now to honor the champions from St. Charles Speedway in St. Charles, Missouri. St. Charles just keeps plugging along season after season. Sunday night has always been their night, and they continue to have good crowds, good racing. They had 5 champions. We'll start with the Demo Derby champion. I don't know if he's here or not. Red Kirstein. Red Kirstein. There's Red. Red also parked your car out here tonight. Just a little off the side, all right? It's only paint, what the heck, you know? And if you've not been to demolition derbies, folks, you got to see one at least this summer. They're always a lot of fun. Red Kersey, ladies and gentlemen, give a nice round of applause. Next, we go to the street stock champion for 1992 at St. Charles Speedway. This guy's been around several seasons, and he just keeps getting better. The 1992 street stock champion at St. Charles Speedway is Mr. Jeff LeBob, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff LeBob. All right. And it's worked out. The two girls that drove me. And they, go ahead, yeah, absolutely. Give them two. You want to give them two? Give them two. Don Plank just waited and he said, my leg's falling asleep. Oh, hurry, Donnie, we're going to get there, buddy. The 1992 UMP Modified Champion at St. Charles Speedway. Now, you know, I say that slowly because a lot of people may or may not realize that we have IMC Modifieds and have had recently UMP Modifieds. And this guy, again, when I say his name, signifies the competitive spirit in his own entire family. For 1992 UMP Modified Champion, Jake Seats come down again. Ford? You got Ford again, huh? Except to get him out of those cars, you know. Jake, congratulations. Jake Seats, the UMP Modified St. Charles man. In the sportsman division, and I'm sure you watch this guy on Green Acres, but is this the same guy? I guess it is. Everybody's happy about it. Did you buy a car from this man? No. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, he's been around a couple of seasons, and I'm glad that he's made it to the championship round at St. Charles Speedway, the sportsman champion from Barstow, Missouri, Mr. Leroy Haney. Hey, he wears the laces. Oh, wait a minute, we want more pictures or a date? What is this, huh? Leroy Haney, ladies and gentlemen. And the King of the Hill, St. Charles, 1992, your UMP late model champion. Out of Labadie, Missouri, this guy has got some great equipment, fast car, very competitive. Mr. Jim Durbin. Jim Durbin.
keeps on keeping on in this area, and I have, admittedly, and I'm a bit ashamed to say, but I just haven't been able to get down there as much as I'd like to, because I understand they have very good racing down at St. Francis County Speedway down there, and again, they had another great season. The 3 divisions that they had, sprint cars, modified, sportsman, and street stock. We'll start with the street stock champion for 1992 at St. Francis County Speedway, Mr. Brent Thompson, ladies and gentlemen. Brent Thompson won street stock. Is he here, Brent? Give him that. Go ahead. Give Brent. He's not here. Go ahead. Give Brent. He only had enough gas to make it to the track. And that has happened. In the modified sportsman, I'm not sure what a modified sportsman is, but there's a guy down there, and you've read his name a lot in newspaper. This guy gets around. He's won some races, both junior and senior. But the 1992 modified sportsman champion in St. Francis County is Tommy Worley Sr., ladies and gentlemen. Tommy Worley Sr. Jim Morris is accepting the trophy. I know your brother Philip. He smokes a lot, I can't stand it. I'm doing this show, Jim. Give Jim Morris for Tom Worley Sr. a nice round of applause. And last but not least, the sprint car champion. And I'll be real up front, real honest with you. I like sprint car racing, man. If I can get away, I like to get to a sprint car race. They're obviously very competitive and very fast. And this young man that won the sprint car championship for 1992 comes from a real racing family. Out of Springfield, Missouri, the St. Francis County Speedway sprint car champ for 92 is Mr. Ronnie Standridge. Ron Standridge, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe this is one of the owners of the car. No? Oh, you just came down, huh? Your TV broke, they said go to St. Louis, huh? Okay. Accepting for Mr. Standards, give a nice round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That's all for me. We still have more prizes to give away, a lot of trophies. We got some attendance prizes tonight. Don't forget about that. We're playing till 1 o'clock in the morning. I've got the Hooter girls upstairs. I got to go check out this. I'll be right back. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for Mr. Mike Mueller?
Our next group of awards will be once again for some youngsters, and this year was the first chance I had a chance to watch the youngsters, and some of the people a little older riding in his go-karts. They built a little track in a town close to where I live in Greenville, Illinois. They call it Beaver Creek Speedway, and some of these youngsters, I believe, did come down once in a while to run with these guys, so it's a lot of fun to watch these karts run. They do put on a great show. We're going to honor tonight the St. Louis Karting Association, and we'd like for these youngsters to come up here if you're here this evening. Chad Coe was the champion in the 2-cycle rookie class. Is Chad here tonight? No. How about a big round of applause for Chad? And we said all we need to say about this youngster a while ago. I hope he's still here. I hope it was time to go to bed for him. Mr. Randy Burnett, 2-cycle junior and 4-cycle junior, the champion this season. I'm saying he's family. Tell you what, you got to build a whole room in your house just for trophies and plaques. And once again, Randy Burnett. In the control, heavy, and Yamaha light and medium classes, Chris Lang. Chris Lang. Is Chris here tonight? Round of applause for Chris. In the senior sportsman division, Perry Tiemann. Perry Tiemann here. There we go. And a round of applause once again for Perry Tiemann. In the Yamaha heavy class, Joe Percelli. Did I do that right? Percelli? Close enough. I could have messed it up just as bad. In the Yamaha, what does that mean? The cart weighs more than the driver does. Big round of applause once again for Joe. In the 4-cycle heavy class, the winner this year was Mike Kelly, And I believe accepting the award tonight would be Joe Walsh. Big round of applause for Mike Kelly. Looking pretty spiffy right there, Joe. See, I told you. Once again, Joe Walsh picking up for Mike Kelly. In the four-cycle medium class, Mark Bauer. Mark Bauer, four-cycle medium. Marker tonight. There we go. Now, I don't understand. He looks smaller than the guy who was in the heavy a while ago, and he's in the medium. Must be the cart. Once again, Mark Bauer. In the four-cycle light division, Jason Boyett. Jason Boyett in a four-cycle light division. Jason here. Apparently not. And in the four-cycle rookie, Jonathan Strong. Jonathan Strong, four-cycle rookie. Look at that. I know it's past his bedtime. And a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we move on now to the Tri-City Speedway over in Granite City, Illinois. Another outstanding season. A lot of different classes of race cars over there. We had the open wheels, we had the UMP late models, and many other divisions. Tonight we're going to honor the champions over at Tri-City Speedway. And the first champion we're going to honor, it's not one of the first times that he's picked up a win. Driving in a pro stock division, the 1987 Godfrey Speedway point champion in the bomber class, 89 in Tri-City Speedway in their street stocks, the 1990 Tri-City in street stocks, and once again 1992. A big round of applause, if you would please, for Dave Jones. Dave Jones. And a round of applause once again, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Jones. In the INC Modified Division is the 1991 Tri-City Speedway track champion, and the INC Modifieds in 1992. Back-to-back track championships, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, Charlie Smith. Charlie Smith, a big round of applause for you, please. Charlie not here. Bob, would you like to accept for Charlie? Okay. And in the UMP late model division, this gentleman has been fast for many, many years. I've seen him win a lot of features, and he done something this year that he hadn't had a chance to do before. The 1992 Tri-City Speedway UMP track champion, his first track championship from Springfield, Illinois, ladies and gentlemen, Fast Eddie Bauman. You gotta start her back no matter where you're at, don't you? Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, a round of applause for Eddie Bauman, all the track champions over the Tri-City Speedway. And a big Bob Winnie, you have some special awards you'd like to give out this night? Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Winnie, the promoter at the Tri-City Speedway. Sure, up and down. Well, Bob, good back here at the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club Banquet of Champions once again, and he has a pretty good announcement earlier this evening. The Allied Auto Racing Association and Tri-City hooking up for 1993. I understand you do have some awards you'd like to pass out here this evening.
Yeah, I want to thank Lowe's for giving me the opportunity to do this because it's been the first year trying to pull everything together. But there are some special people that I want to recognize. They don't know it's coming, and I think people here should know that this is what this room is made of. And one of the things we're going to point out here is that I know Lois talks about the people that left us, but there's new people that come to us. And with the cost of racing, it gets more difficult, but you're always trying to get more people involved in the sport because we can't have races without participants. And this gentleman, he went from buying tickets to, he bought a race car, and him and his wife and his family got involved. And this man is really a rookie of the year. He never drove a race car. He had some good people helping him, Bob Quinn, Mike Wallace, and believe me, ladies and gentlemen, he never drove a race car until this year, and I'd like to recognize Pat Ryan, please. is something that is real special because there's a lot of people, a lot of champions in this room. They've won a lot of races. And I think Mike Wallace talked about it earlier that, you know, when you start going, you've got to remember the people that helped you along and the things that helped bring your career together. And this gentleman, he doesn't have a total career in motorsports yet, but I think someday he might get there. And he's got total dedication. He's been a track champion at Godfrey Speedway. He's been a track champion at Tri-City. He got involved. This year he ran both the Pro Stock class and was a champion. He got into the IMC Modifieds, and after 8 races, he won his first main event. He came back, he won 4 main events. But the most important part, give me 2 minutes. Back in August, the Coolidge Junior High School came to me, and they were having orientation day for the junior high school in Granite City. And their theme was motorsports. Believe it or not, they pulled it out of the air. They came to see me. Can you help me? Give me some banners and all those kind of things. And the Valvoline people came through and supplied the banners. And then it's, well, can you get somebody there with a race car? And I'm like, where do I find somebody with a race car on Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock? Where can I find this person? And so I asked him, I said, hey, they're having orientation for the 7th and 8th graders at the Coolidge Junior High School. Could you come over, bring your car, and, you know, the kids are, the theme of the thing was race start to the finish and stay there, and they were trying to preach to these kids to stay in school. So this race driver, champion, brought his car over. He was at the high school at 8 o'clock on Wednesday morning. He's got a business of his own. But he gave up his time. He came over there. He had his car there. I gave out tickets to the kids who were in the gymnasium there to come to the races on Saturday night. And there happened to be a child, 7th grader, new to the school. And he was walking around the race car when they were loaded up and the orientation was over. And this guy asked him, he said, are you going to the races Saturday night? He said, no. I said, I don't have any way to get there. He said, why not? Because my parents don't have a car. And so he says, well, how are you going to get home? He says, well, I'm going to walk. So he went and checked what the schools are if I take this kid home from school. You know, that he wasn't taking him away somewhere else. And so he took him home. He went back Saturday afternoon, picked him up, brought him to the races. I seen with my own eyeballs that the kid got out of his truck. He gave him a $20 bill. He said, have fun at the races tonight. I think Dave won the race that night. He came back, took the kid home. Before he loaded up his own equipment, he took the kid home and came back and loaded his other equipment. And ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to being a champion. There's a lot to winning races. And this is all part of it. And I think this is what Mike Walsh was alluding to earlier. We have a driver here I'd like to recognize on stage, gentlemen, please. Our track championship trophy for him. Ed Bellman, our UMP late model champion for 1992.
Well, not bad. You got one more trophy up here, and you're still on the back of the pack from the beginning, right? Big round of applause once again for Eddie Bauman and Glenn White for Tri-City Speedway. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Mike alluded to a while ago, this is going to be my final part of this program. It's always a pleasure to be here at the St. Louis Auto Racing Banquet of Champions and be able to enjoy and support some of the other people who love it as much as I do. And I appreciate the opportunity to be able to work with the fan club board again here this evening and with Mike. And with that, I'll turn it back to Lois.
Don't you think these two do a great job? We just have a couple more left to go. And then we'll be on to the really fun part of the evening. Under Achievement Awards, there are still 2 awards that we need to present. And they go to 2 participants at Godfrey Speedway. Larry and Kathy Walters created an award called the Top Gun Award at their racetrack. And I would like to ask Ed Bauman and Dave Jones to come up here and each one will receive the award. St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club has an award that we present to the most active member of the club. The person that the award is named after is no longer with us, but was a great supporter of the club, was active in almost every one of the activities that we put together, and had a very beloved habit that all of us just came to know that when we saw him, we would hear those words said sometimes throughout the evening, and if you couldn't remember your name, it was Hi George. And we called this our George Award. His wife Lil is here tonight with us, and I'd like to ask Lil Suggs to come up here, please. Her husband Frank was very active in the Boy Scouts, so you'll notice that when Rhonda presents this award, it is in the shape of a Florida lady, which was what the family wanted. And each year we keep track of who are the people who helped the club participate in all of the activities. And joining Lil is Eileen Waters, who was the person who came to the club and said, I think we need to do something like this, and we need to get more people involved. So the person that it is a real pleasure for me to present the award tonight has helped us at our regular meetings, selling tickets, handing out literature at local racetracks when we have fan club nights. A person who, when we go to the DuQuoin Speedway and we set up our booth and we do our Fast Qualifier Awards, is always there to say, you know, hey, go take a break, I'll take care of this for you. Probably has folded in her life 4,000 or 5,000 t-shirts. She's always there to help us put everything back in order. And I would like to ask Dobie Sims to come up here, please, and receive the award as the 1992 Saturday Award. And if you haven't guessed, Dobie is Rhonda's mother.
How you doing, Kenny?
And I think she's passed those traits along to Rhonda because Rhonda is a previous recipient of the George Award.
Even though it's straight, ain't it? Give me $5. How many I get for $5?
The next award I'm about to present, and we've done this in a little different order than we normally do, but I think it's probably going to give me one of the biggest thrills I've ever had at one of these banquets, because we've honored a lot of champions, and we've honored a lot of special recognition recipients. And the person that is going to receive this award tonight has raced for many years. When Roger and I owned our race car, we had the opportunity to race against him. Sometimes we won, sometimes he won. I think a whole lot more times he won than we did, because this gentleman's won over 500 races in his career. He stayed here with us locally. He's put together a team on his own, has not moved on to NASCAR or ARCA or Indy or any of those kinds of things. He stayed around the St. Louis area to give the St. Louis race fans a lot of thrills, and he has many, many fans. And if you notice that we did not present the Ambassadors Award this year, because this, I believe, also is one of the traits that the man, who I'm sure most of you know, the name I'm going to say, possesses those traits also. He's a friend to almost everyone. If something breaks on your car and you need a part, all you have to do is go over and ask him, and if he's got it, is yours. And it gives me great pleasure tonight to present to you our Kurt Lehman Award winner, Ms. Donnie Klein from the White House. I said earlier in the program that we would be sharing some information with you, and I mentioned the fact that in late summer that we lost Arnie Knecker to his battle with cancer, and we will be entering into discussions with the Knecker family here this winter and on into next year. And next year we plan to establish a new award, and it will be called the Arnie Knecker Memorial Award. And for any of those of you who feel like you would like to nominate someone for any of these awards, I encourage you to contact one of the officers, because we're always looking for input into our award selection. We try to cover all kinds of racing, recognize the abilities of everyone, and we will make public the criteria. And I'll share something else with you, and this is just basically in the talking stages right now, but there's plans that there will be a memorial race also in Arnie's memory. So we will be working on those things next year, and I hope that when the papers and TV and radio and everything carry those notices, that you'll go out and buy the tickets and participate in that. That concludes our program. I've had a very pleasant time helping to put this banquet together, and I would like to thank all of the officers and the board of directors who have worked with me to do so. I hope that all of you will enjoy the rest of the evening, and for all of you race car champions tonight, and those of you who have received awards, the board did something a little different this year. We mulled over what should be the first song that we would play. There are many favorites, racing songs in the crowd. Some of them are nicer than others, and later on in the evening we'll play those other ones too. But we thought that this particular banquet, we celebrated our 25th anniversary banquet last year. We had a great slideshow, and next year we'll probably have some videos and some things like that. But we thought this year it might be appropriate to choose a song that we could play for all of the racers. And we have a great DJ with us tonight, Mark Remstead from Spectacular, and he has all kinds of musical selections. So if there's something that you would like to hear, please feel free to ask him. But at this particular point, I would like all of you to join the officers, the board of director members, as he plays the first song of the evening, and this is dedicated to all of you race car champions and those who received awards for tonight. Thank you all for coming, and I believe Mike is standing up here on the left. He has something he wants to say, and it's going to be a surprise, so it's all yours.
Just before we do the song, the bars are open